Hi, this is Jane with Being Sober today for a total of today is day 15 of being sober from alcohol, and it's my 2 weeks of not smoking cigarettes, and also 2 weeks with no coffee, caffeine, or no coffee, no soda, and no energy drinks. And I just kind of wanted to make today a little bit different. I didn't want to just kind of ramble on like I usually do, because sometimes my goal was to just make a video and kind of talk about being sober to help myself out, and just to know that I put a video up on something about how I'm doing that day and that I'm still sober and I'm still doing good. Today is still the same like that. It's still the same deal. I'm still sober. I'm still doing well. It was a good day. So I wanted to, it was a day, and today's also a day where I'm just kind of tired, and I don't want to do a lot. So I'm making dinner, hanging out with the dog like usual. But I wanted to put down or maybe talk about some things of like reasons why you should be sober, and the good parts of being sober, and then we'll go over some of the bad parts too. So I'm going to start off with reasons why you should be sober. Like, I actually wrote stuff down and actually worked at it this time. A big one for me, a big motivator for me for being sober is definitely money. It's just so crazy when you stop buying unnecessary things like alcohol and cigarettes and Rockstar energy drinks, like just spending that much money. And it's weird how much money you can save doing that. I haven't saved a bunch of money, obviously. I saved about $250 or some number like that. My finances will get better. I know that. I've taken it easy for the first for the first 2 weeks, I still paid all my bills and stuff, and I still had money. I just haven't like written it down in a book and done all that, and done books or anything at my house. But money's a very big reason for me, and I think it's the same for a lot of people. So if you want to save money, and your goal is to just have more money just to have on hand, think about how much cigarettes cost a pack, how much you're smoking a day. Thinking about that bottle of alcohol that you bought and how much that cost you as well. I kind of calculated mine from like $150 or so on cigarettes a month, and I was a Southern Comfort person, or I would drink Jack Daniels, and when I had really no money at all, I would drink the cheapest, like $7 alcohol. But before all that, I would always go to the Southern Comfort 100 proof. That was my drink, so that's about $20 there, and that was almost daily, almost a whole bottle of that daily. Just to give a little bit of background information about myself and like my addictions, I've gone through every addiction. I mean, I don't know what new things are out at this point. I know fentanyl is a big thing that's happened, and it's kind of caused a deal with that, but I never touched anything like that. A Tide Pod thing, I don't know how that even happened. That's weird. But every other thing, I mean, I've done it. Aside from like some like heroin, like white China heroin or something. We've all done pills though, right? So my drug history goes back to when I was little even. I was like 9 or 10 years old, and I would pick up cigarettes off the ground and I would smoke them when it was like really late at night and my family was asleep and stuff. We had a door in our basement that would lead out to our backyard, and I would sneak out and go find cigarettes in the streets, which was a horrible idea. And that's kind of how it started. My grandma smoked, my grandpa smoked, a lot of members of my family smoked. My dad and mom and stuff didn't, but a lot of members of my family smoked. So I always saw that. I think in my head, I thought that was like what I should do, or maybe I adopted some kind of personality that was addictive or something. And then shortly, years went on. I got to like 11 years old maybe, and I smoked pot for the first time, and it was terrible pot, I remember. And then I drank wine or some kind of wine or something, or a beer, when I was like 12 or 13. And then, and when I was like 12 and 13, I smoked pot every once in a while. I smoked cigarettes at the same time. Whenever I get a cigarette, I would buy cigarettes or get cigarettes from people. When you grow up at a skate park, they're just there. And that's what happened. I grew up at a skate park, and there was not a lot of great influences. Nothing bad to skateboarders. I still skate. But I look back at it now, and if like a 13-year-old kid went up to me and asked me for a cigarette and I still smoked, I would definitely say no. That's how it was back then, though. It was a little bit different. It was like early 2000s. And it was actually it was like late 90s, early 2000s. So, and then after that, it just got worse and worse. I got older, and then I started drinking more, hanging out with friends, and it was like fun because you could hang out with your friends and drink and have a party and all that stuff. And someone gets in a fight and you talk about it for 3 weeks after and all that type of deal. But then you get older, and then you start hitting hit that 18 age, 19, 20, 21. Then you're in the bars, you're at other places, and there's other drugs around. I think I was 17 when I first did coke, I think. And and then while I did that, I was smoking a whole bunch of pot, and I drank too all the time with these one group of people. We went to the same house every night for like a year, I swear to God. Or we went other places, always in the same little pod. And we just did drugs and drank. And that's how it was for a long time, and that never stopped. Alcohol was always a part of it. I wasn't super into alcohol. I was more into drugs back then, believe that or not. So I was into a lot of different stuff. And then I got addicted to coke really bad, to cocaine really bad, to where it got to the point to where I got 2 eviction notices and I sold my car for coke. So I got 2 eviction notices and I didn't even care, and I sold my car and I got more cocaine. That's how bad it was. And then I thought, after trying to save money from not doing cocaine, I would buy pot to mellow myself out and drink like it's better, like I saved anything, like anything better happened or something. And nothing good happened out of that, obviously. And then years go down the road, I'm doing pills all the time, Roxycontin, some Oxycontin when that was around. And then eventually I got into meth. So I did meth for a while, and then that got really bad too. So I did meth for quite a while, and I've been actually clean from meth and pot and stuff. So meth is going on almost 2 years, and I haven't smoked pot in a little over a year, and that's really due to having a job to where I get drug tested. So that's the good benefit of having a job where you get drug tested, is you really can't mess around. If you really want a good paying job, smoking pot is not going to help you, at least in my case. But that was my drug history. And then I got to, even when I had kind of went back and forth with meth for a while, I started drinking more and more. And then one of my friends died, and then 2 weeks later, and then a week later, both my cars were stolen a week later. After my friend dies, both my cars were stolen both of my cars were stolen a week later. And a couple of weeks later after that, the dog I had for 15 years, she died of a stroke right in front of me. And I used to have 3 dogs. I have 1 dog now, but then I had one other senior dog. He was like 13, and he couldn't walk anymore. So I had to get him put to sleep because he couldn't walk anymore, and he would just drop right to the ground, just like right in his side. So the medicine wasn't helping him stand up, like a pain medicine he was taking for his legs. But he had to get put to sleep. He was a good dude, and she was a good girl. Now I got one dog here. I got a dog named Bella. She's a Dutch Shepherd. We're doing good. We're doing sober. We're good. Everything's okay now. And then after that, man, after all that happened, I think I relapsed on meth once, and then I didn't do it again. I haven't done it again since. And then I started drinking a lot. Like, I would get to the point where I'd just get a bottle of alcohol and drink almost all of it. Get to that point, maybe one night drink half a bottle. Then I started drinking a whole bunch and smoking like 2 packs, like a pack and a half or 2 packs a day. And then I got to the point where I would drink a whole fifth. I know some people might drink even more than that. In my case, I was drinking a whole fifth a day for like a good year and a half. And then I got to the point where I think one day I was sober and I realized I have seriously gone through every addiction involving drugs and alcohol almost, and it's like I had to go through those to know that none of them were good. I'm always gonna be an addict, and if you're a person like me, you'll always be an addict, and those impulses to do drugs or drink alcohol or go buy a pack of cigarettes or something is always gonna hit you. And you have to like shake that off. You have to, if it's bad to where if it's like a bad temptation, you have to really sometimes dig deep and try and find out reason, you have to reason with yourself. Like, I don't need to drink alcohol because if I wake up in the morning, I'm going to be hungover, I'm going to be sick, I'm going to regret it, I'm going to be depressed for a week after because I went so long with being sober, and now I destroyed it because I drank alcohol. So those impulses will always be there. You have to fight them. They're always going to be there. They're cockroaches. They don't die. They're always going to be there. So that's kind of a background on myself. I was sober for like 4 months. I had a short relapse. Now I'm back at 2 weeks of being sober, and I think doing these videos is going to help me a lot, and I hope that it helps other people as well, if you do watch them. And if you don't, I hope that you stay sober and do well. And now I'm just going to go over reasons why you should be sober. Some of these reasons you already know, and I know as well, but we as addicts don't want to admit that to ourselves, that there are good reasons for us to quit these things, and we just can't take that like jump into the lake, you know. So money, that's one. And then I went over money. You have a clear head, and if you don't have a clear head, you're gonna have a clear head. It takes a long time. I know that. Everyone's still you're still gonna have bad days, whether you're sober or you're not. You're gonna have bad days, but you're gonna have a more clear head at the end of the night, or maybe you got through the worst day ever of becoming sober, and the next day it's the best. So I'll have the worst. Like last night, I had a pretty crappy time sleeping. I wasn't sleeping well at all. I knew I had to be to work by 5, and I went to bed at like 9:30, and I kind of instantly regretted it. I was like, I should have been asleep a long time ago, and it was kind of a really terrible night. I feel like I didn't even sleep. But I know tonight when I go to sleep, I'm going to have a clear head in the morning, and it's going to be awesome. So think about if you had the worst day ever, the worst day trying to be sober, you've had all these urges, and then you get over with, you get it over with, and you sleep like shit, and then and then the next day you kind of like drag on, and then you go home that night and you survived. Like, you survived that whole war with going into any, or getting into any drugs or any alcohol, or going back to any of your old habits. You got to start new habits, you know. So clear head, that's a good thing. And the kind of a clear head goes along with a clear conscience. So a clear conscience is just gonna, you get a better attitude with that. So you get a clear conscience because you have that money. You have a clear head because you survived those urges. And then another million reasons, I mean, health is one of them. You're going to feel better eventually. It sucks really bad at first. It still sucks for me. I'm only 2 weeks sober, but it's still terrible for me. But eventually you're going to feel really good. And then you have family that might need you to be sober. Maybe your parents. I'm not a parent. I don't have kids or anything like that. If I do drugs and alcohol, I really don't affect anybody but myself. So I'm doing this for myself, doing it for my dog. I mean, I think even my dog likes it better when I'm sober. I don't like beat up my dog or anything like when I was drinking. I just wasn't like a parent, you know, in the room. I was just intoxicated. Friends maybe. I don't hang out with a lot of people, but maybe your friends might be like, hey, you need to get sober. And but really, at the end of the day, you got to get sober for yourself, because that's probably the only thing I'm going to be pretty kind of clear about is you got to be sober for yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to do well. And that's my struggle, as I have to remember, you're doing this because you need to do it and you want to do it. So you have to want to be sober, and you have to be able to arm yourself to the teeth, really, to get through those bad urges. And that's kind of the point where I'm at right now, is where I have to fight through an urge, and I'm okay. And I know the next couple of weeks are going to be tougher, because now I've gotten a lot of that stuff out of my system, even like soda and all that stuff. I've gotten all that out of my system, but now I have to tell my head, like, no, you can't do that. I have to ignore the headaches, all that stuff. And it's allergy season. So, for yourself or for somebody, whatever it's going to take for you to be sober, do that. The good side effects of being sober is you're not going to be hungover in the morning. And that's awesome. Because if you're an alcoholic, you know what it's like to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and get up for work, and you're like basically one of the zombies from a movie, and you have a horrible headache. You're almost still intoxicated, and then you drive to work. That's how I was. You have more energy eventually. At first you might feel pretty terrible for a couple weeks, couple of months, who knows. Depends on what you drink or how much you drink. Getting through daily challenges without a dependency, and you gain confidence from that. That all goes together. So you have a new confidence, because you can make it, you can make it through an entire day. Whether you had a rough day at work, or you went to the DMV and they all pissed you off, whatever. If you can handle all that stuff for the day, and then go home and say, I survived all this, I did it all, I got through all of this with no dependencies, and you gain a confidence from that. And once you have that confidence, it gets better every time, and then those tasks become a lot easier. You become more organized. Maybe you've always been a messy person no matter what, who knows. I'm kind of a messy person, but maybe I'll get more organized. That's my goal. I just wear myself out a lot. Like, I go skate a lot, and then I read a lot. I have a pretty big book collection. I've been playing guitar again lately. I didn't play it for years. No, I'm playing guitar again lately. I'm just going back over theory at this point. I'm actually rebuilding a guitar too. Just do whatever it takes to not falter to what drugs and alcohol do. One thing I like to think about is that the alcohol and cigarette companies, the drug companies, they don't care about you. They don't care about you at all. They care about money. I don't care how many commercials they put out that say don't drink and drive, all these things, blah blah blah. They don't care. They want you to drink and they want you to buy more alcohol. They want that to happen. Cigarette companies like people like RJ Reynolds, they want you to buy their cigarettes, even though he doesn't even smoke cigarettes. The guy that owns it, whatever his name is, he doesn't even smoke, but he knows he's going to make a lot of money off of people addicted to cigarettes. So think about the billions of people, the millions of people in America that smoke cigarettes and buy 2 packs a day at like $7 or $6 a pack. How much money they're making off of you is insane. So just think about that. They don't like you. They're using you. They're using you really bad. It would be hilarious if everyone in the world just stopped drinking and stopped smoking, and to just watch those companies go to the ground would be hilarious. But that's like a dream. It's probably never going to happen. They usually win no matter what. But you can at least be one person that doesn't use their product. That's what I like to think about a lot of the time when it gets really bad, is like these assholes just want all my money. I'm not going to give it to them. But that's it for me today. It was a longer video than usual, but we went a little more in depth of kind of my backstory, reasons why you should be a sober person, good side effects of that. We didn't really go over any bad side effects, because guess what? There's no bad side effects of being sober. It's a good thing to do. So just work on that, and I'll work on it with you. We'll work together on it, you know. That's it for me though. I'm going to lounge out, do nothing, be lazy for the day. I've earned it. And if you're being sober and you've worked hard at that, be lazy, do nothing. Watch Carol Burnett and laugh or something. Alright, stay sober. Have a good night.